Do you realize the power of the story of the woman with the issue of blood? Let me read to you. It's in, I think, 3 of the Gospels. It tells the story. It may not be all 4, but I think it's in 3 of them. And the one that I like the best is Mark, chapter 5. But I don't want to start right there with that story. I want to back up to verse 21, just start there. And when Jesus was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. Pay attention. The part about the story is there was a man that came to Jesus and said, Jesus, I need you because my daughter's dying, but I need you. And when he said, okay, I'm going to go with you, pay attention, it's very important. Jesus has in his mind, and all the disciples and Jairus, they've all got in their mind, I've got Jesus, we're going to go to my daughter. I know there's going to be a miracle. I know this man that I've heard about so much is going to heal my daughter. But listen what happens next. Now remember, it said that many of them had followed him and that they had thronged him. Okay? And this is verse 25. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years and had suffered many things of many physicians and had spent all that she had and was nothing better but worse. We missed this. She had 12 years been with this issue of blood. She's been to all the physicians. She's spent everything she had. She's thinking at least maybe they can at least slow down the symptoms. How many times have we been satisfied if the symptoms are not as severe rather than receiving a full healing from God? How many times? Well, it's not that bad. Well, she's feeling better. What are you praying for? Are you praying for a relief of to lighten the symptoms? Or are you praying for a move of God? Now watch this, what she said. This is so good. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment. Wait a minute. So she done pressing through and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be made whole. Now, let me lead this up to you. So I don't know exactly how it was. I don't know if it was a big old alley. I don't know if it was out in the middle of something. I don't know where they were. All I know is there was people all around. Jairus is leading the way. We're going to go to my daughter who's sick. They say she's probably going to die. I had to come and find somebody that's going to take care of my daughter because I don't want my daughter to die. So they're just going along. The disciples probably having some conversations about it. Well, I wonder what's going to happen when we get there. Wonder what's wrong with the girl. Wonder how old she is. What's Jesus going to do when we get there? Is it going to be real quick? Is it going to be, I don't know. What are we going to expect? Maybe this is the conversation that's going on, right? So they're going on. The disciples is used to it. There's people following Jesus by this time. They're all over the place. So as these disciples is going around and they're trying to catch up with him and they're going on, they're kind of protecting him going on. All these people touching. So as they're walking, they're being tossed back and forth. I'm talking about shoulder to shoulder, right? Heavy, thick traffic, if you would. So here comes this woman, 12 years. With the issue of blood, we all know how your blood is. When you got things going on with your blood and stuff, a lot of times you're weaker. You got to be tired. Physically, mentally, you have to be tired. You've seen so much, you've had so much hope, and then nothing. 12 years you've put up with this. You got to start feeling hopeless. I don't know. I don't know how she is. I know different people are different ways. Then she hears of a man named Jesus coming by. And she says, wait a minute. This ain't going to cost me a dime. He's already healed all these people. I've heard all this good about him. So I'm going to recognize who he is. Now, there's a story in the hymn of the garment. I've got to save that for a later time. And she says, it has to do with authority. If I realize and recognize the authority of the man who that I'm about to put my faith in, that if I can get to him, I'm going to be made whole. If I can do that, then this is going to come to an end. 12 years of suffering is coming to an end, right? So she just goes on. Well, maybe she's pushing. She's weak. All these people pushing, all this noise, all this stuff going on. And she's got to fight the noise of the world. She's got to fight the pushing of the world. She's got to fight the resistance of the world. She's got to fight the weaknesses within herself. She's got to find deep down inside of herself some faith and some push to push through. So when she's pushing through and she starts going through, and maybe somebody knocked her back a little bit, and maybe she's almost there, and somebody knocked her back out of the way a little bit. She had to have the faith to keep going, to keep pushing, knowing that if she could get there, she'd get her miracle. So she's going on, and she's going on, and she's reaching, and finally, maybe she's even pushed down to the ground. Maybe she's down on her hands and her knees. I don't know. Maybe that's the way it is. And she's just trying her best to get to him. And then she reaches out, and she touches the hem of his garment. Watch this. Man, this is so good. And straightway, verse 29, the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she had been healed of the plague. She felt within herself. She knew something was different. 12 years she'd been fighting with this stuff, but she got a hold of the master, and what happened? She felt a little different. Why did she feel different? Because there was a difference that was made. Because when she touched him, she felt, the Bible said within herself, she felt herself being healed. Man, this story gets me excited in case y'all can't tell. All right, going on down. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus, watch this, immediately knowing in himself that virtue, that virtue had gone out of him, he's walking, he's going on, everybody's pushing him, he's used to it, disciples is used to it, they're going on, they're doing things. He'd gone out, the virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, who touched my clothes? What kind of question is that? What kind of question is, who touched my clothes? Everybody touched your clothes. Everybody's been around you. Everybody's been here. But see, it's the worldly. It's the carnal thinking that we have, because Jesus was speaking heavenly language that they didn't understand. So when he said, who touched me? He didn't mean who touching with touching. He said, who touched me? Who touched me? Who got inside? Who caused this virtue, right, that I've been carrying around with me as a child of God, the Son of God, showing people what to do, going on this thing. I'm on my way to Jairus' daughter's house. I'm about to go heal this daughter, right? She's sick. I'm about to go heal her. Whoa. Somebody touched me. So he said, who touched my clothes? And the disciples said to him, thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? Like, wait a minute. Now, Jesus, hold on. There's a lot of things we're learning, a lot of stuff we're trying to understand. But why would you ask such a crazy question when all these people's around you and all these people have been touching you for this whole trip we've been going, and you're about to stop and ask why? Who was it touched me? That is, think about it. Now, y'all looking, y'all thinking, that ain't right. That's crazy. I'm telling you, that's the way they look at it. And he looked around about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. She had come to him and said, Jesus, let me just tell you, it started 12 years ago. This issue of blood hit me, and I didn't know what to do. And I had a little bit of money put back. And I heard about some physicians, so I went and saw a physician. And the physician couldn't help me, so I heard about a better physician. And I had a little bit more money, so I went to this other physician. And it's been wearing me down, and it's been wiping me out. And people have been making fun of me, and I've been held back. And all this stuff that's come about me, all this has been my life for the past 12 years. But then I heard you was coming. I heard you was going to be around. I heard you was going to pass by. And in the moment of you passing by, I just thought, maybe, I know I'm not worthy. I know in me I'm not worthy. But if I could just touch you, I don't want to bother you. I know you got stuff to do. I don't want to bother you. But if I could have just touched the hem of your garment, I knew that exactly what's going on would happen. And it did. See, she told him the story. And he said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague. If that story don't get you, then I don't know what will. I don't know what's going to get you. Everything in the Bible is applicable to our lives. Every story, every word. I don't think there's anything idle. I don't think there's idle punctuation in the Bible. Now, you can get into translations and you can talk about all this different stuff, but the core, you got my little Bible here, the core is the infallible Word of God. And everything in here, I believe there's stuff that could be added. I believe there's stuff that people probably took out. But I believe that everything that you and me need is in these 66 books. I believe that. Because I don't believe the Lord would allow certain things to come out. Because His Word's going to go on. So what is the application for us? Hopefully the application is not that we got to wait 12 years and be fed up with everything before we ever try to turn to Jesus. Right? That's what we're going to say. I understand. But what you don't understand, my situation is different. Okay. Jesus is the answer. But you don't understand because okay. But Jesus is the answer. We got to turn to Him. But it's been this way for so long. You're not. Quit. None of them's going to work with me. Jesus is the answer. So the application is this. Jesus went on. And they said, Jarius, it's too late. Your daughter done died. Jesus went in, raised her. Man, that's a good story too. But I ain't trying to focus on that because He was on His way to be a blessing. And while He was on His way to be a blessing, in the middle, somebody else needed a blessing. So what did He do? He became the blessing for the one before He went on to be the blessing for the other. So what that means in our life is sometimes when we're going to do something for the Lord, if He tells us to go and do something, we got to go do something. But don't get so much tunnel vision that all you see is this one thing for the Lord, because while you're on your way, there might be somebody else that needs something from you. But now let's flip it to the woman with the issue of blood that's been going through all this stuff for so long. We got to have the faith. Talked about the faith of grain of mustard seed on another video. Do you and I have the faith? And I said you and I, right? Because I ain't perfect. Let me start with me. Do I have the faith to know that Jesus is passing by and that I'm just going to reach out and believe that I'm going to be healed or delivered or whatever? I need some peace that I'm just going to reach out and touch the hem of His garment. I'm going to get that peace that passes all understanding. What? Yeah. But sometimes for us to act on our faith, we got to be a little bit down the way. I'm working on it. How about you? Are you working on it? Can we get better? Can we do better? Can we be a blessing on the way to be a blessing? And when we need the Master, can we call out to Him? Man, that's a good story. I'm going to leave that with you all. I love you all. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night or day or whenever it is you see this. I thank you for watching. And if it helped you, this YouTube, like, subscribe, share it. Help get the word out. It's time that I quit being lazy and I do what the Lord had me to do. And that's try to reach as many people as I can. I love y'all. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. Go in faith and be a blessing. In Jesus' name.